everybody. For those of you guys that take class here at my house, a handful of you, figured we would go back to our normal spots. This is the way you're used to seeing me in front of the big window here. I may be a little bit backlit, but you should get the point anyway. So we're gonna start standing. What else did I want to say? I could have thought of this a month ago, and I didn't, but if any of you need to borrow props, I know Amazon has been really slow. I don't know about any other online ordering companies, but I have blocks, I have bolsters, I have all kinds of things. I have a few chairs, obviously, for those of you that are local. If you need to borrow something until we get back to normal, whatever that is, and can see each other in person, you are more than welcome to. I can leave stuff in my driveway for you. So we're going to start standing. I'm going to take my glasses off for this. And what we're going to do is to just start with a little bit of tapping. So you're going to use your fingertips and you can just start tapping the head lightly but gingerly. Go all around. You can close your eyes. I'll kind of talk you through this. Make sure you're getting all around the skull, even the base of the skull, behind the ears. And now, a little more gently, come to the forehead, the temples especially. Spend a little time there. We hold a lot of tension in the temples, all around the ears. You can go around the ears a little bit. Those of you that have TMJ, this is a wonderful thing to do. Spend a little bit of time by the jaw here. So now you're on the face, carefully going by the sinuses, cheekbones rather, just to wake yourself up. And then you can pause from this for a moment and grab onto your earlobes. As silly as that sounds, grab your earlobes in all different directions and do a bit of ear pulling. Again, really good for TMJ. You can make some little circles, or headaches caused by TMJ or other headaches. Right? You can grab the top of the ears. You may hear a little bit of crackling in there. Right, so just pulling. They're your own ears, don't be shy. Okay, so then you can go back to your tapping and go down the sides of the neck. There's a lot of lymph nodes right there. So spend some time working your way down from top to bottom on the sides of the neck. And now we're going to transition from using the fingertips to using a soft fist. So I'm letting my wrist, can you see I'm letting my wrist sort of be loose. I have a soft fist and I'm going from the center of this, sounds a little like Tarzan's, center of the chest, out to the side, right underneath the collarbones. Or collarbone. Stick with this one side for now. And again, very good for lymphatic drainage. Go down the front of the arm, the side with the elbow crease. You can work your way down into the other palm. For those of you that are missing your manicures and pedicures, this little hand slapping may remind you of that. And then you can go down the back of the arm, the back of the shoulder and the triceps as much as you can reach. Back of the forearm. Come back up, switch hands, go to the other side. Try to be holding as little tension as possible, right? Let the body move. Even the legs and the knees are shifting a little bit as I'm moving. I'm not trying to stand in Tadasana to do this. I'm just invigorating here. Go down the front of the arm. Okay, you can come back up and down a few times. Get to the palm. Back up. Down the back of the arm. Don't hit your funny bone, doesn't feel good. Okay, then what you're going to do is both hands on the chest, out to the sides as much as you can, and then the rib cage. Make sure you're breathing. The belly and the sides of the waist. So I'm making little circles here, almost going from the beneath the ribs and then down by the pelvic bones, out to the sides. If you wanted to follow the line of digestion, what you would do is, let's see, I'm going to have to mirror this. You would go up your right side, across the center, and down the left. Up the right side, so this is going in the direction of your digestion or the way that the colon goes, across the center, the transverse colon, and down the left. Okay, and go back to both hands. Get the sides of your hips, the buttocks. You have to lean forward a little bit here. Get the front of your thighs, sides of the thighs, back of the thighs. Go down the outer calves, the inner calves. Don't hit your shin bones, it doesn't feel good. And go up to the buttocks again. Go down the legs till you get to the ankles. And then just stand up. Take a few breaths. And so you should feel a bit more awake, certainly. A bit more like everything is brought to the surface, right? And there's various ways of doing that. You can do it, I like to do it with a soft palm. I've seen it just with, that gets a little bit more blood going. It gets a little, if you just use an open palm and slapping, almost like cupping. You do that in massage, cupping, especially on people's backs, a little bit of percussion, as they call it. So now what you're going to do, I'm going to step a little forward. Make sure you have space all around you. You'll have your feet a little bit wide and the knees soft. And let's see, I can probably move back a little bit. And I'm just swinging. The knees are soft. Let your arms be like noodles, like overcooked noodles, right? Try not to hold. I know this is challenging for some of you. Try not to make it happen. This is what it looks like when you're trying to make it happen, right? There's not as much freedom, and you don't hear this sort of smacking sound happening. Let go in the fingers, let go in the wrists, the elbows. Again, keep your knees soft. You're not locking your knees here. And you're just twisting and turning. You can turn your head if you like. Those of you that tend toward vertigo, you're going to want to keep your head maybe a little bit more still, like I am now. I'm looking at my phone, the camera, right? And just the arms are going. If you don't struggle with that, you get a little bit more movement in the chest and in the head. And then what you do is you just come to neutral slowly, and you let that motion slow down on its own. And I always feel like my arms are longer after I do this. Okay, so that's just a little wake up. It's more, honestly, it's more Qigong based than it is, as far as I know. The little I know about Qigong, I remember doing that sort of wake up. So more Qigong based than yoga based, but hey, it's all good, right? So it's kind of like cooking, you know, sometimes I make Mexican food and sometimes we make Asian inspired food, sometimes it's whatever, it's all across the board. So we want to be able to draw good things from anywhere, right? So now take a blanket just for padding for your knees. And you can place your knees on the blanket. If you need another blanket underneath your butt, or if this just doesn't happen sitting on the heels, then you skip it and you do what you can. All right, so we woke up a lot of the body. We did not, however, do much to the feet. So we're going to do that other than standing on them. We're going to do that now. So you're tucking your toes underneath. You're moving your knees. It's not very visible, but you're moving your knees slightly back toward your ankles, and you're sitting up if possible. You can interlace your fingers, take your arms up. Nice deep breath. Release. Go back to Vajrasana. Come forward again. Tuck the toes, pull the knees back toward the ankles. Sit up on your heels as much as you can. If that doesn't work, you keep your hands on the floor. Interlace the other way, go up. Open up the armpits. Keep the jaw soft. You did all that nice work, that tapping all around the jaw and the temples. Keep the eyes soft, the tongue relaxed. Release. Okay, you sit back on the heels. One more time. Try to get tucked underneath there, even with the pinky toe. It may or may not happen, but you're looking for as deep of a tuck in the feet as you can. Again, people with bone spurs, be careful going too far with this. Bone spurs and the big toe joint, or any other toe joint for that matter. Switch the hands. Release. And sit on the heels. And then just stretch your legs out one by one. And I'm going to sit in Dandasana and spread the toes. And then you're going to point your feet, otherwise known as plantar flexion. I'm going to be technical. And then dorsiflexion, pulling the toes back toward you, pushing out through the heels. Plantar flex, dorsiflex, invert. So here, like this, except with your feet. And then evert, pull the little toes back towards you, your hips. Plantar flex, dorsiflex, invert, evert. Come to a neutral state, and then you're just going to squeeze your toes. I'm doing this with my toes. You can do it with your hands too, why not? And then spread the toes and the fingers. Squeeze. I don't know if you can hear Chaz having a dream out there, but he's making really cute noises right now. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. One more time. Squeeze and release. Okay. If it's possible for you to get your foot up here comfortably on your knee and on your hip, you can do that. And what we're going to do is interlace the fingers between the toes. Sometimes it's challenging to get there. Okay, and then I'm gonna hold my ankle still, so I'm not moving my whole foot around. I'm gonna hold just below the big toe mound here, so that when I make these circles, I'm just moving the toes. And then circle the other way. And then release. And now go back to your pedicure move. Really get the heel, right? Get the heel, get the arch of the foot. You have to wake up there. There's generally not a lot of awareness in the feet, unless you're a dancer. And then release. We'll do the other side. So bring this leg up. You could also do this in a chair. If you want to sit in a chair and do this. Some of you may have gotten your chair already. Okay, so we interlace. And now I'm holding just below the big toe mound, so that when I make these circles, it's just the toes that are moving, just the toe joints. And my little finger is not wanting to stay put, so sometimes you have to fix. Circle the other way. And then release your fingers. And hopefully you can find a comfortable spot on your leg there. And go back here. Bring some awareness into the bottoms of the feet. Okay. So now that you're good and awake, go ahead and take downward facing dog. Lift your toes, press the heels down if you can, open up the calves. Uttanasana. Downward dog. And what you're going to try are little hops now. So now I'm going to bring my feet together. And I'm going to bend the knees and I'm going to get springy. And now I'm going to look at my hands. I'm looking in between my hands. And I'm hopping, 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 hopping back, back, back. Okay, try that again. Tuck my shirt in. Okay, so feet together, look between your hands, give a hop, another hop, hop back, hop back, hop forward, hop forward, hop back, hop back. Okay, obviously if this is not a happy thing on your knees, don't do it. You can go in between downward dog and then walking forward to Uttanasana. And then inhale, come up. You're going to give a little extra something here. I'm going to fold the blanket the narrow way. So it's narrow. And I'm going back to downward dog. Bring your feet close together. Look at your hands, hop over the blanket. Hop over, hop over. You have to use your abs. Hop over, hop over. Good. One more time. Over and over. Walk forward, Uttanasana. Okay, so you can practice that again. If you want to go further with this, you go by your wall. And you work on hopping up into handstand, either one leg or two at a time. So there's different things for different people. You can practice the hopping, you can practice walking, right? Just stepping forward, stepping back. You can make that higher if you'd like, hop over blocks if you'd like. So just going by where you are in your own practice. All right, so some of you might be flinging yourselves up into handstand right now. You can always press pause and do that. So what we'll do now is we're coming back to downward dog. If you need blocks for standing poses like triangle pose and extended side angle, please get your blocks and put them behind you. That would be on your, what side? On your right side, back behind you. In other words, away from your screen that you're looking at. So I'm in downward dog. And I'm going to now bring my feet together. I'm going to take my right leg up and I swing it through. And I don't know if you could see here what my right hand did as a little bit of a cheat, a little hack to get into this is I swing up. As I bring it through, I come to the fingertips. That gives me a little bit more space. And then I bring the other heel down and I straighten the leg and I come to triangle pose. But notice I did not come all the way up first. I stayed as low to the ground as I could. And then you can bend that leg, go back to downward dog, swing the other leg up, come to the fingertips if you can. So now I'm leaning on my right hand. Bring it through. Bring your right heel down. Stay as low as you can and come to Trikonasana. Come back to dog pose. Sit back in child's pose for a moment. Now, if that is a challenge for you, don't do the dog pose in between. You can do your standing poses just right from Tadasana. So if every time you try to bring your leg through, and you've been doing it for years, it's not getting any easier, just skip it. Don't do this vinyasa part. Just do stand in Tadasana. And then when we get to one side or the other side, then you do that, okay? So we're gonna go through that again. Downward dog, right leg up and back, bring it through, Trikonasana to your right. Downward dog, left leg up and back and through, Trikonasana to your left. I'm turning out, I don't think mirroring you here, but hopefully my words are making sense. Hopefully. Back to downward dog. Now we're going to come to Utthita Parshvakonasana. So you're going to bring the feet a little closer together. Right leg up and back and through. Stay in a nice bent leg position. Utthita Parshvakonasana. Hopefully your block is there if you need it, if your hand doesn't touch the floor. Back to downward dog. Left leg up and back and through. Turn the other foot down. You want to try to maintain that heel to arch alignment that we've been hearing about for 20 years. Right? This heel in line with that arch. It gives the hips a good position to be in. Downward dog. Take a couple breaths. And now from downward dog, I like to tell you what we're doing before we're doing it so you know where you're going. We're coming into Warrior Two. Right leg up and back. Bring it through. Virabhadrasana 2. Again, heel to arch. Keep this leg bent. And you come up. Look out over your right hand. Downward dog. Even yourself out. You get a little crooked sometimes in between sides. Left leg up and back. Bring it through. Keep the left leg as bent as you can. Keep the hip nice and flexed as you come up. Warrior two. Downward dog. And we're going to come into Ardha Chandrasana, so half moon. Right leg up and back. Bring it through. And come on up. Downward dog. Are you breathing? Make sure you're breathing. Left leg up and back. Bring it through. Oh, I'm gonna run out of room. My head's on the chairs. Hopefully you have more space. Ardha Chandrasana. Downward dog. Okay, even yourself out. We're going to come into Parsvottanasana now. Right leg up and back. Bring it through. Both legs are straight. Hands are on the floor or on your blocks. Downward dog. Even yourself out. Breathe. Left leg up and back. Give a good stretch to that front groin. Use the buttock muscle when you take this leg up and back. Bring it through. Organize your feet, both legs straight. And breathe. Downward dog. Revolved triangle. Right leg up and back. Bring it through. Either hand on the inside or the outside of the foot, whatever you can do. Downward dog. Left leg up and back. Bring it forward. Take as much width as you need. I'm going to cheat, use my window here to help me to turn. Well, I feel more stable. Downward dog. Now you're going to inhale into upward dog. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Feet are not together at this point. Inhale, upward dog. You can rest your knees on the floor if you need to. Firm your legs. Inhale, upward dog. I mean downward dog. You know what I meant. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Walk forward. Uttanasana. You could have jumped forward if you wanted to. You're still feeling zippy. Release your head. Release your neck. And now we'll make our way down into Ardha Mukha Virasana. Sit on your heels or have a blanket between your buttocks and your heels. Let everything settle a little bit. Breathe into the back. And then you can make your way up. Okay. So sitting, you can certainly sit on a blanket if that works for you. Right? So what I'm going to do first here is I have my foot, just pick a leg, just keep track of which leg is which. All right. I have one foot out to the side like this, and the knee is down toward the floor, around the floor. And I bring the other leg in like this. If you need to sit on height, sit on height. And you lift the chest, lift the chest, lift the chest. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross over with this foot into Ardha Matsyendrasana, and I'm going to turn. I'm turning toward the knee that's up in the air. And release. Other side. So other foot goes straight off to the side. Bring this here at first. Sit up nice and tall, roll your shoulders back, press the shoulder blades into your back, and then cross the leg over. Squeeze these two pieces together, the ankle and the thigh, and then turn toward the knee that's up in the air. And release. Stretch your legs. Upavishta Konasana. Okay, so we went from a very squeezy pose now to a very open pose, and I like those next to each other. It goes sort of from one extreme to the other. All right, reach forward. Now walk over to one side. Reach forward with the hand that's in front here and the opposite hip. And actually, it's not the opposite hip. So I'm reaching forward with my right hand, and I'm reaching back with my right hip. Same thing, second side. Reach forward with your left hand and back with your left hip. To get an opening on the side. First side again. This Parshva Upavishta Konasana. My back hand is on the floor pressing down. Other side. Reach, and you'll feel a lot of times very different from one side to the next. Come back to center. Reach forward. Make your way up. Baddha Konasana. Forward. Use your breath to help you. And then come on up. Bring the legs together. Dandasana. Separate your feet a little bit. Paschimottanasana. Open the back of your knees. And then inhale, lift your chest, come on up. Bend one leg. Move the buttock toward the heel as much as you can. Marichyasana 3, so I'm turning toward the bent leg. The breath gets a little bit shorter here, just because it's another squeezing pose. Release. Marichyasana 3, second side. Back to center. Upavishta Konasana once again. Come forward. Now, instead of doing Parshva, which is over to the side like this, which is what we did before, we're going to attempt Parivrtta. So, it's always interesting when I use the word attempt, isn't it? So what you're going to do is you're going to take hold of your left elbow. You're going to take hold of your left elbow with your right hand. And I'm coming to the side and I'm putting the elbow down on the floor. The other hand goes onto the hip. And you see, maybe you can hold on to that foot there. Maybe not. Maybe you need to put a block underneath this elbow and rest your hand on your head. That's another option. Okay? Otherwise, the elbow comes down, you hold the foot. So now this hand is hanging out here on my hip. I roll the shoulder back. Now I take the arm up like Parivrtta Trikonasana, and I'm leaning back, and I'm not worried about this leg coming up. Don't worry about that. I lean back, and then I'm bringing the arm all the way overhead if I can, and holding the outer edge of that same foot. And then I turn down into Parshva. And I'm much further in Parshva than I would have been if I would have just gone there to begin with. And then use your hands to push up. Okay, second side. So now take hold of your right elbow. I know I'm not mirroring you. Falling apart. Hopefully it's okay. All right, so lift up, elongate the side here. This is like Gomukhasana arm. Exhale, come down. Other hand goes on the hip. Okay, the elbow either comes to the floor, or if you need a block to raise it up, hand on the head, that's fine. Elbow goes to the floor as far forward toward the ankle as you can because you want to reach for that foot. And then I roll back, roll back, roll back, roll back, open the chest, open the pecs of this arm that's up in the air, bring it behind your head, and grab onto the foot. Or not. And breathe. And then turn down to Parshva. You can try to get that back of that leg a little closer to the floor. And then push yourself up. Come to center. Bring the legs closer together, about hip distance apart. Bring your arms up again. Exhale, come forward. So Paschimottanasana also has a Parivrtta. And here's how we'll work with that. Take a blanket. Just the way it was folded before. And just kind of stick it right there. Okay, the legs are a little wider than they would normally be, but that's okay. So this is going to give you a little bit of height for your elbow. Okay, so we did Parivrtta Upavishta Konasana. We can work toward Parivrtta Paschimottanasana the same way. Which side did I do first? All right, take hold of your left elbow, just like you did before. Now, I have the blanket there, which raises the floor up a little bit if you need to block, or if you need to stay up here and do this gentle twist to the side, that's fine. I'm trusting that you guys are taking care of yourselves, so I haven't got any bad phone calls yet. All right, so you take your arm up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn, and I'm going to aim that elbow down, and I'm just going to grab, let's see, I'll grab the inner edge of the foot. So it's my left hand holding my right foot, and I have my right hand on my hip, and I'm turning. And I'm forward bending, and I'm turning at the same time. And then I bring the arm up like Parivrtta Trikonasana. It doesn't want to go there, but I try to do it anyway. I bring it up, I bring it behind the head, and I grab the opposite foot. Inhale, come up. Okay? You can do all of that. You can do none of that, it's a challenging pose. Okay, so now I have my right elbow up like Gomukhasana, and I'm drawing it back with my left hand. I take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, reach the elbow forward and down. Hold on to the foot, roll back a little bit. Bring your left arm behind your ear, grab the opposite foot. And breathe. Inhale, come up. What's challenging about, there's a lot of things challenging about these. One of the challenging things is getting an elongation as you're twisting. The last thing we want to do is twist when we're all crumpled up, which is why if your Paschimottanasana is here, if the hamstrings are tight and your Paschimottanasana is here, you shouldn't do that pose. You're better off doing this, right? And hopefully you know that by now, right? You're better off just turning, loosening the spine. All right, so now maybe I'll stay this way. Okay, more of the full pose. If you really want to see the full pose, look it up under Patricia Walden's name, or obviously in Light on Yoga, you can go to Parivrtta Paschimottanasana. This is my best version for April 30th, 2020. Okay, so I'm going to take hold of an elbow, and that elbow is going to go to the outside of the opposite leg. So here we go. Inhale, exhale. Doesn't want to go all the way to the floor. So you push it up against the shin and use it as leverage. And then the hand turns and grabs the outer foot. And then I roll back as much as I can. Hold the opposite foot with the free hand. And I'm turning. And a good little tip here is to press your elbows away from each other. And then come up. And do the other side. So I take my elbow, take a nice deep breath. I exhale, coming forward. Get a little leverage. Take hold of the foot. Don't worry if your leg starts turning out. We'll do that another day. I roll back, get this arm back, bring it behind me, grab the outer foot. Press the elbows away from each other. Elongate your sides as much as you can. And then I come up. And then I even myself out, widen the legs a little bit, regular Paschimottanasana. Or Dandasana. You can sit up in Dandasana to become more neutral. And then inhale, come up. Cross your legs. There's one to work on, right? You cross your legs and lift your chest. Now the hands, or fingertips are behind me. You can be up on blankets if you'd like still. And roll the shoulders back. And I'm coming to a teeny tiny back bend in my upper back. Tiny back bend where I'm lifting the chest and I am actively pressing the vertebrae that are between my shoulder blades. I'm pressing those forward into the chest or toward my sternum. And then just keep lifting your chest and drop your head. Raise your head. Switch the crossing your legs. And again, I roll the shoulders back. It's almost like I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together a little bit, the bottom points of the shoulder blades. And I'm lifting up through here, through the front of the chest. So we come to a more neutral place from the forward bends that you were just doing and the twists. And then I raise my head and going to need a belt for this. gonna pull my mat a little bit away from the wall. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is a gentle Chatushpadasana. You just brought yourself a little bit more neutral, away from the deeper forward bends and twists. So I place the belt around my ankles and I turn my palms up. I turn my palms up with my upper arms. Okay, so I've now rolled the shoulders back and the chest is open and lifted. I engage the buttock muscles and I'm lifting up. Don't go as high as you can go, just go a bit. Lifting up, and then I lower down. Again, lift up. And go a little further this time. And lower down. And again, lift up and go a little higher. Moving the chest toward the chin, the knees actually toward your head. So I'm pushing my feet down and almost away from me. And then I come down. And you can put that off to the side. And if you want to, if you practice shoulder stand and you need your stuff to practice shoulder stand, now would be the time to start setting up your stuff. Okay, you can always press pause. I'm working shoulder stand on the floor these days. It's almost like a half shoulder stand. I'm not looking to get up as high as I possibly can on my shoulders like we do with the 3 or 4 or 2 blankets, however many. You guys know who you are as far as who shouldn't do this. High blood pressure, glaucoma, detached retina, things like that. If you've just eaten, you shouldn't have done any of this. Although you probably realize that right now. Okay, so I press down with my elbows and I'm gonna roll up a little bit onto the top of the shoulders, but I'm not all that concerned. I'm more concerned with getting a nice inversion. Okay, if you would prefer to do Viparita Karani, you're probably doing that already anyway. If you should not be doing this, you take your legs up the wall. And you have to let your belly relax here. Breathe, keep reaching up with your legs. And then what you'll do is try to roll down as thump free as possible. So I come to Halasana and I'm going to untuck my shoulders. I place my hands down and I try to come down with control. Lifting the chin often helps with that sort of rolling down. Okay, and then you're taking Baddha Konasana, Supta Baddha Konasana. If you would like your support, you know what, let me show you how to do this. For those of you that forget sometimes and you do have a belt, the way you use the belt, one of the ways you can use the belt is like this. You make a big loop. You put that loop over your whole self. You bring it way down. See here, it's not up on the lower back. It'll feel crummy if you put it up on your lower back. So you bring it down to the sacrum. Then you take Baddha Konasana. Now this is way too big. So what you do is now I just put it over my feet. Okay, so it's like that. It's over the feet. And make sure that the buckle does not land on your skin. Of course, my belt is twisted, but I'll say that that's fine for now. And tighten it up a little bit, but don't make it so tight that when you go down, it's going to be impossible. Okay, so this is by the hip creases. The belt is down on the sacrum. Still use your hands to go back. You lift your buttocks up, move the buttocks toward the heels, come down to your elbows, and relax. Again, support underneath the thighs if you need it. Take your glasses off, if you're wearing glasses. Relax your arms. And you can lift up from the base of the skull, elongate the back of the neck. And just completely rest for a few moments. Observing your breath. And now if you can grab onto that belt, pull your legs in a little bit, and then free up your feet. Don't worry about taking the belt off, just leave it where it's not going to bother you. Stretch your legs out and take a brief Shavasana. Let go of the physical body as much as possible. And of course, you're welcome to stay if you'd like a longer Shavasana. Otherwise, take a deep inhalation, an exhalation, and bend your legs. And take that belt off. There's Chaz dreaming again. Roll to your side. I hope you can hear that because it's just the sweetest thing. We call those woof woof dreams around here. All right, I'm gonna go make sure he's not having a nightmare. All right, namaste.